Hello and welcome to watching NDTV 24/7. My name is Kitty Bahel. We are starting this edition with some breaking news coming in. The BSF has foiled an infiltration attempt from Bangladesh. We are learning this has been reported from the Jalpaiguri district of West Bengal. Well, the BSF is on high alert amid the political turmoil that is being witnessed in Bangladesh. At this moment, the BSF, we are learning, has stopped an infiltration attempt near the Dakshin Berubari Panchayat area of Jalpaiguri district in West Bengal. An estimated 600 Bangladeshi nationals had tried to enter India at the border. That is the latest coming in. We'll try and get more details about this. My colleague Saurabh now joins us on the broadcast here, getting us more on that. Saurabh, what more details are coming out about this latest development that has taken place? We're learning about 500 to 600 Bangladeshi nationals had tried to cross over to India, but the BSF tried to speak to them and has stopped this infiltration bid.
Well, there has been uncertainty among several communities in Bangladesh over how this whole event of the past 48 hours or so has played out. And there have been attacks on several people. There has been law and order chaos. And that has, of course, led to a worry that there may be people who may be attempting to cross the border simply to escape the violence. Now, what we've been given to understand from sources is that this group that wanted to cross the border also had a certain fear about their safety, and that's why they arrived at the border thinking they would be allowed to cross the border. However, the BSF told them that, look, this is not how it works, and there is, of course, no way that the BSF can simply allow a group of people to walk in. But we are being given to understand that the group was at the border, at least in late evening, hoping that they'll be let in, because remember, there is a lot of fear and insecurity, especially amongst minorities in Bangladesh, which is essentially the Hindu community, largely. Given what has happened, temples have been attacked, members of the Hindu community have been attacked, and this is something that has played out even amidst appeals from, the top political leadership. However, the attacks continue, and perhaps the fallout of such law and order situations, or the lack and absence of any law and order enforcement on the streets,
is coming about the steps that are being taken by the Indian government with regards to helping those Indians who are in Bangladesh and people who are running their establishments as well. As you've been mentioning, there have been attacks and violent attacks that have been taking place on Hindu temples as well as business establishments there. Saurabh, if you are able to hear my voice. All right, we'll try and reconnect with Saurabh in just a bit. Meanwhile, that is the latest coming in at this point in time. The BSF is on high alert amid the unfolding situation in Bangladesh. The BSF has managed to stop this infiltration attempt near the Jalpaiguri area of Bengal. While we are learning about 500 to 600 Bangladeshi nationals had tried to enter India through the border. However, the BSF official spoke to them and said that they would not be allowed to enter India and stop this infiltration bid. All right, shifting our focus now to some more news that is coming in a shocking incident that took place in UP's Hapur district. A cop in civil clothes was seen brandishing his pistol and slapping a woman passenger who objected to the cop's foul language and also abusing the e-rickshaw driver. The e-rickshaw driver, we are learning, had brushed past his car. The viral video of the incident led the police to take note of the matter, and the cop now has been suspended after the video had gone viral.
पुलिस लाइंस में नियुक्त SIAP हैं। इस वीडियो पर संज्ञान लिया गया है और इसकी पुष्टि की जा रही है, और जो आचरण इसमें हमारे सब इंस्पेक्टर आम पुलिस के द्वारा किया गया है उस संबंध में प्रशासनिक कार्रवाई की जाएगी, और वीडियो को परीक्षण करने के उपरांत जो है इसमें जिस भी प्रकार की कार्रवाई की आवश्यकता है उसको भी संपादित किया जाएगा।
All right, we'll try and get more details about this in just a bit. Meanwhile, that is what we are learning at this point in time. All right, we have some more news now coming in. The Madras High Court now has reversed the discharge of Revenue Minister Ramachandran as well as Finance Minister Thangam Thenarasu from two different disproportionate asset cases booked against them and their families in 2011 and 2012. While setting aside the discharge of Tamil Nadu Revenue and Finance Ministers, the Madras High Court said that it had a sacrosanct constitutional duty to interfere to prevent the gross abuse of the judicial process. Well, the court observed that the rule of law meant that every person would be equal before the court. Well, that is what we are learning of at the moment. All right, my colleague Sam also now joins us on the broadcast here, getting us more on that. Sam, it's a big decision now by the High Court, and also this means trouble for both the Tamil Nadu ministers. Both of them will have to face trial now.
Well, Kitty, I'm not able to hear you very clearly, but this particular order is being seen as a setback and an embarrassment for the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu. The court has reversed the discharge of two ministers from disproportionate assets cases. And in this case, it's the Finance Minister Thangam Thenarasu and the Revenue Minister KKSSR Ramachandran, against whom the earlier AIADMK regime had filed disproportionate assets cases, and soon after the DMK came to power in 2021, these cases were discharged. They were discharged from these cases after the Directorate of Vigilance and Anti-Corruption, which probed these cases, filed what they call additional investigative reports. And on that basis, the lower court or the trial court had withdrawn these cases, and Justice Anand from the Madras High Court had moved suo motu. On his own, he had taken up these cases and questioned the discharge of these ministers. And it's on that basis now the court has ordered that the lower court has to frame charges against these two ministers and have a trial on a daily basis so that these cases can be finished in a time-bound manner. So far, the ruling DMK has not commented on this. And it's just not these DMK ministers. There are also other cases pending, and these include the former Chief Minister, O. Pannirselvam, and Valarmadi, a former AIADMK minister. The cases filed against them when the DMK had taken over, where actually they were discharged from these cases after a change of guard. And it has been a kind of a pattern in Tamil Nadu, and this time the court found something fishy and has asked these ministers and former ministers to face trial. In the case of the other two former ministers, orders have not come, but we expect similar orders in a few days or very soon from the Madras.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that, and also we'll be keeping an eye on the DMK reaction on that, as my colleague Sam Daniel has been informing us that the DMK so far has not reacted on this, but both the ministers, of course, will have to face trial now, and the court has said that trial must go on a day-to-day basis, so the case is wrapped up as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Sam, for getting us all those details. There's some more news now. The Supreme Court today pulled up the ED and pointed towards the low rate of conviction in money laundering cases and has asked the ED to improve the quality of its prosecution efforts. The court, citing the recent data provided in the Parliament, said 5,000 odd cases that were registered under the PMLA, their conviction rate has only been 40 cases in the last 10 years. Well, 40 cases out of those 5,000 cases have only been convicted. And what the court has also said, and I quote, why you really need to focus on the quality of prosecution and quality of evidence is because all the cases that you where you are satisfied that there is some prima facie case, you need to establish the cases in the court. This is what Justice Kant had said while speaking on the matter, and also wrapped the ED on the very issue. Well, we have some more news now coming in. The government today said that media reports claiming potential leakage of NEET PG exam paper are false and misleading. Well, NBEMS has registered a police complaint against fraudsters and their accomplices for attempts to befool NEET PG aspirants in the name of providing questions for NEET PG 2024 for money. All candidates are assured that question papers for NEET PG 2024 are yet to be prepared, and claims of potential paper leak made in social media are bogus. All right, my colleague Tanushka also now joins us on the broadcast here, getting us more on that. Tanushka, so the government has clarified that there have been several reports that have been going viral on social media claiming that the NEET PG paper was leaked already, but those reports are clearly false and misleading.
Right, exactly, Kitty. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has come out with a statement, and the National Board of Examination for Medical Sciences has also come out with a notice that states clearly that all these media reports that are doing the rounds right now, that there are claims of the leak of the NEET post graduation exam paper, is completely false and untrue, and it has no pure basis. In fact, the Board of Examination has also gone ahead and filed a police complaint against such fraudsters as well as their accomplices, so as to keep a check and also keep a holistic ground picture clear that there is no such leak of the NEET post-graduation paper happening. They've also come out with a communication web portal wherein students or NEET post-graduation aspirants who are experiencing or who are coming across any such people or any such fraudulent approaches, they can file in their complaint on this web portal, or they can also go up to their local police station and file a complaint about this. And what we also know is that the Board of Examination has very clearly said that a leak is not in the scene, let alone that they have still not prepared the question papers itself. So they're still under process of preparing the question papers, and any such person who's asking for a hefty sum in exchange for the NEET post-graduation paper must be, brought to light or, via complaint on their web portal.
All right.
Which makes that that ensures this process is clean and transparent.
Absolutely. All right. That is the statement that's coming in from the government there on that very issue. Meanwhile, thank you so much, Tanushka, for getting us all those details. It's time for a short break. Yeah, we'll be right back. Welcome back after the break. Some news from Maharashtra now, setting the stage for the formal initiation of seat-sharing talks within the Maha Vikas Aghadi. Shiv Sena UBT chief Uddhav Thackeray is in Delhi on a 3-day visit to the capital. During his visit, Uddhav Thackeray has met with top Congress leaders, including party president Mallikarjun Kharge and leader of opposition in Lok Sabha Rahul Gandhi, among other leaders of the India bloc today. Well, that is the latest coming in. We'll try and get more details as to what transpired in that meeting. Well, my colleague Sunil Prabhu also now joins us on the broadcast here, getting us more. Sunil, what more details do we have about this meeting between Uddhav Thackeray and the Congress leaders?
Well, what was decided at that high-level meeting between Uddhav Thackeray, Aditya Thackeray, Mr. Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, was that one way or the other that they will try to resolve their seat sharing, and by the end of this month, that is early first week of September, they should be able to identify and decide which are the seats that they will be contesting. Wherever there are issues at the local as well as state level, then of course at the central level they will try to resolve it amongst the leaders to find a way forward. Having said that, they also discussed the strategy that needs to be done ahead of the assembly elections, so the joint campaign, they're looking at the winnability of candidates, and of course, what are the issues to be taken up which are affecting the state of Maharashtra, especially the fact that there has been a lack of development, the corruption, the commission, as they point out, that is taking place at various levels in the state government as well as in the corporations. And more importantly, the leaders also decided that ahead of the elections, they should have more India meetings, India bloc meetings, so as to show a united front and a united campaign vis-a-vis the BJP, Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde camp, which they will be taking on in the assembly elections, which are due in the next few months.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Sunil, for getting us all those details there. Well, we're learning at the moment that the formal talks between the party representatives, of course, between the MV, of course, is going to take place in Mumbai. But this visit by Uddhav Thackeray has also set the tone for Shiva Sena, and Shiva Sena, of course, would like to position itself as the big brother here in the alliance, and would want to have a major, share or chunk in the seat sharing that takes place, the talks that are going to take place between the MVA constituents. We are learning that the first round has already begun. This meeting had taken place today between Uddhav Thackeray and the Congress leaders. All right, some more news now that we are tracking at the moment. In the Parliament session, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman responded to increasing calls for withdrawing the GST on health and medical insurance. She emphasized that states' tax laws have been replicated under GST and urged those advocating for a rollback to first engage with their respective state finance ministers. She said that the tax has been there on medical insurance even before the introduction of GST. There was already a pre-GST tax on medical insurance. This is not a new issue. It was already there in all states. And those who are protesting here, did they actually discuss this regarding the removal of this tax in their states? Remember, opposition leaders, including Rahul Gandhi, had protested at Parliament demanding the removal of GST on these premiums. TMC MP Derek O'Brien had also raised the issue in the Rajya Sabha, with Mamata Banerjee threatening to take to the streets against what she called an anti-people tax.
मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस के ऊपर जीएसटी आने से पहले से हर स्टेट में प्री जीएसटी टैक्स लगता था। ये नया विषय आज नहीं आया है और जीएसटी पैदा होने के बाद नहीं आया, हर स्टेट में था पहले। आज आकर इधर प्रदर्शनी करने वाले हर एक से मैं पूछ रही हूं, आपके स्टेट में पहले बात की है क्या? उसको हटाओ, नहीं किए।
All right, some more news now. It has been an absolute heartbreak for India, with India's ace grappler Vinesh Phogat, who stood on the cusp of ultimate glory in the Paris Olympic Games, but was disqualified from the competition entirely because she was 100 grams overweight. The permissible limit was 50 kgs. And she was 100 grams over 50 kgs. That is the permissible limit. As we learned, the news, of course, has sent a lot of, has disheartened a lot of people. Now, the updates are that Prime Minister Modi also had intervened, and he's spoken to PT Usha, who's the IOA chief, and asked her to file appeal to reconsider the matter, so that the matter could be reversed. The decision could be reversed, of course, regarding Vinesh Phogat disqualification. Now, what really happens there, that of course remains to be seen. We have a lot of reactions coming in. Let's take a look.
They'll go on rules only, but we have done from our part, we have done our best through through that wrestling federation, and then even I am going to meet the World Wrestling Federation president also just now, doing our best. So I met her, and she was so strong, na, that is why she could do there, and even from there also she is strong, but she's done her best, I think, to reduce the weight, what I felt best. But even for hair also they have cut, no?
Was there a situation that Vinesh didn't know her body very well, how much weight she could cut in the space of 12 hours? Or did this just come about suddenly?
I think whenever something like this happens, this has happened last night. We've been up right from 10 o'clock when this process started, and all of us have been doing this whole thing throughout the night. I think it takes some time before we can analyze the situation, audit, and try and see what are the processes that we can do that are going to make it better. This right now is the gold standard, but is the gold standard good enough? Can we do something better? I think we'll need to assess, analyze, and we haven't had the time to do that as yet.
विनेश का वजन 50 किलो 100 ग्राम पाया गया, इसलिए वे स्पर्धा के लिए अयोग्य घोषित की गई। इस मामले को लेकर भारतीय ओलंपिक संघ ने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कुश्ती संघ से कड़ा विरोध भी दर्ज किया है। नेशनल भारतीय ओलंपिक संघ की अध्यक्षा पीटी उषा भी अभी पेरिस में है। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने स्वयं उसके साथ बातचीत करके उचित कार्यवाही करने के लिए, उचित एक्शन लेने के लिए भी उसको कहा गया है। भारत सरकार ने विनेश फोगाट की उनकी आवश्यकता के अनुसार हर संभव सहायता प्रदान की है।
All right, we'll keep an eye on the developments on that. Meanwhile, some more news coming in. This is from Jharkhand. The government has given big relief for the farmers in the state. Loan waiver has been announced for farmers. Up to rupees 2 lakh farm loan waivers have been announced by the Hemant Soren government, we are learning. Listen in to what the Chief Minister had to say earlier.
कई महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय लिए गए विभिन्न विभागों के, और मुझे लगता है कि आने वाला समय में ये निर्णय राज्य के लिए बिल का पत्थर साबित होगा। चाहे किसानों का 2 लाख तक का ऋण माफी की बात हो, चाहे हमारे ग्रामीण पारंपरिक व्यवस्थाओं को संरक्षित करने वाले मांझी, मुंडर, गुड़ित और अन्य लोग, उनके जो सम्मान राशि है उसको बढ़ाने को लेकर।
All right, some more news now. A Pakistani man with ties to Iran has been charged over an alleged plot to assassinate US politicians and officials. We are learning FBI Director Christopher Wray has called the scheme a dangerous murder for hire plot straight out of the Iranian playbook. That is the latest coming in. Murder for hire plot seems to have been exposed. This is what the FBI has said. The FBI said that a foreign directed plot to kill a US citizen has been exposed. It is a threat to national security and will be met with full might and resources of the FBI. All right, with that, it's time to wrap this edition. More news and updates on the other side.